and thanks for joining us for our class today. So today we're going to go through a little class to using some resistance bands. So this is just a modification of a lot of the exercises we know well in Pilates and just adds a little bit of resistance to that movement, sometimes challenges that control a little bit more as well. So I hope you enjoy the class today. Make sure you go to whatever level suits you and most importantly enjoy the class. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to bring our toes apart and those heels apart, so those feet at that hip width distance. Just to start with, transfer that weight coming onto the fronts of your toes and then back onto your heels. So just nice and slowly forwards and back from here. Just looking to find that midpoint between those two movements. So that's weights going nice and evenly down through your feet. Knees are nice and soft, so not locked back from there. Hands up onto your pelvis, just going to gently tilt that pelvis forwards and tilting it back. So slowly forwards and back from here. And just looking to find that midpoint between those two movements, so that pelvis in a nice neutral position. Good. So that core is engaged, those ribs are soft, collarbones nice and wide, that neck's nice and long and lifted from there as well. Good. Okay, so we're going to start with our band just between our hands, so just having that there. Don't hold it too high, just as much resistance as you feel comfortable with. So neck nice and long, shoulders drop down. We're going to open out our chest and then come back. Good. So breath in. As you breathe out, open out through that chest and then back. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, opening out and back. Very good. So just feeling that little bit more resistance as you come out with that movement. Good, and back. Now as you come out, squeeze those shoulder blades gently back together and then forwards. And again, opening out, squeeze those shoulder blades gently back and forwards. Keeping those shoulders down, that neck nice and long. So we're opening out through that chest and squeezing those shoulder blades. Good. Opening out, squeezing gently back and forwards. And again, opening out and back. Lovely. And again, squeezing gently back and forwards. One more time. Opening out and forwards. Good. And then back down. Okay, so we're going to reach up from here into our Y stretch. So arms a little bit wider, and then we're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to bring our arms up and out into this Y. And then back down. Good. And again, so breath in. As you breathe out, lift those arms up and out, just that little bit wider, and then back down. Good. And again, opening out, just that little bit wider, and then back down. Good. And again, reaching out, a little bit wider than those shoulders, and back down. So you just feel a little bit of tension on that band. Not too strong, you're not trying to pull it too hard, just feeling that little bit of engagement of those muscles, a little bit of tension. Good. On this next one, we're going to come up, if you can, come up onto those toes and then back down. Good. And again, reaching up on those toes and then back down. Good. And again, reaching up and down. Well done. One last time. And then back down. Very good. Okay. So just pop that band underneath your foot for me here. So you're going to stand on it like an anchor, and we're going to work through our arms, so our biceps. Now really importantly, keep that core engaged so you're not feeling that movement through your body as you add in the movement with your arm. So not too much tension again, just what you're comfortable with. Elbow into your side, and we're going to bend at the elbow and then lower down into this bicep curl. Good, so bending and lowering. So make sure that the elbow is at the hinge joint, okay? That bit should be moving, your shoulders should be staying down. Neck still nice and long and lifted, and lowering. Good. Bending the elbow, lowering back down. Very good, and lowering. So keeping that control as you're lifting and lowering. Very good. Let's just do a few more here. So keep that control, bend, elbow bend. Well done. And straightening. Make sure you're controlling the band. That's it. Good. So don't control it as it lowers back down as well. Very good. Very good. One last one here. Bending at that elbow and controlling down. Very good. Okay, so let's do the same on the other side. So just having that under your foot. So we're just standing on it to anchor it here. So hand with that band, we're going to bend at the elbow and lowering back down. So keeping that core engaged, not letting that movement through your body. Bending the elbow and lowering down. And again, bending the elbow, lowering down. Very good. So you want to keep that core control because actually sometimes we're not trying to get any movement through my spine. I'm trying to keep this supported as I bend, lift through my arms. Good. So bending and lowering. That elbow's that hinge joint. Excellent. Well done. And let's do one last one. And then lower back down. Very good. Now we're going to take our band and just place it underneath one foot here. And we're going to have the tension on the band, so my hands are going to stay about this kind of waist height level. So my shoulders still drop down, neck still nice and long and lengthened. The leg I'm standing on is going to be a little bit soft, so it's just supporting me here. And I'm going to lift up and I'm going to push down against the band. So control that lift up and push down. So we're flexing at that hip and pushing down against the band. Good. So control that lift up, push down against it. Good. Control, lift up, push down against it. Only bring that up to about that hip height and push down. If that feels too much, just go a little bit lower to where it's comfortable. Good. So lift up, push down. Lift up, down. So really keep that control. You control the band, don't let it control you. So keep that control as you're pushing down and lifting up. Good. That leg you're standing on is working hard to support you as well. And again, push down, control that lift up. Push down, control the lift up. And again, well done. And let's do one more here. And push down. Good. Just take that tension off the band there. Excellent. Do the same. So other foot in front. Okay. Hands just at that shoulder level, waist level. Sorry. And then we're going to lift up and push down. So that knee you're standing on is nice and soft. Okay. That's supporting you, that leg, as we're pushing down through this band. Lovely. Keep that core engaged. That hip's just flexing to that hip height. Remember, no higher. If that feels too much though, just go a little way. Well done. So keeping that tension, so my hands are staying at that waist level. And pushing down, controlling back up. Good. Push down, control back up. Push down, control back up. Well done. Last few here. Push down, control back up. Well done. Good. Excellent. Push down, control that back up. And let's just do one last one. Push down, control back up. Excellent. And just relax off from that band from here. Very good. Okay, so we've warmed up nicely in standing. So we're going to come down, continue our class down onto our mats and on our backs. Okay, so we've come down onto our backs. So we're going to start by making sure we're in that nice neutral position. So bring our feet that hip width distance apart. So our feet and knees that hip width distance. Just to begin with, we're going to tilt that pelvis forwards and back. Just looking to find that midpoint between those two movements. So again, that pelvis is starting in that nice neutral position. That core's gently engaged, those ribs are soft, collarbone's nice and wide, and that neck is nice and long and lifted from there. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to use our bands we've brought with us today. So we're going to just put one foot around the band here, so we can hold it with our hands. We're going to come up into this tabletop position. So keeping that core engaged, take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to push our leg away against that band and then fold back. Good. And again, so we're pushing that leg away, folding back. Making sure we're keeping that control, not letting our back arch, we're not losing that neutral position of our pelvis as we lengthen that leg away. Good. And again, pushing that leg away, folding back. Push that leg away and then fold back. Good. Now either keeping that leg at single tabletop, if you want to, we can raise the opposite leg, keep it lifted at tabletop, so we're in a double tabletop, and we're just going to move that leg with the band. Good. So we're pushing that leg away, controlling back. Excellent. Good. And we're going to see from here, we're going to do another 8. So we're going to go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then coming back to that centre, lower the opposite leg. Now we're going to keep the band around this leg, and we're going to stretch that leg up to the ceiling, keep that little bit of tension on the band, and we're going to go into a one leg circle. So either keeping this opposite leg bent, or to make it a little bit harder, we can straighten that leg along the floor. So keep a little bit of tension on here, and we're going to round in a circle. So drawing that circle on the ceiling with that foot, coming around and back from here. Good. So coming around and back. So drawing that circle on the ceiling. The movement should be coming from that hip joint. That pelvis should be staying steady. So keeping those hip bones pointing up towards the ceiling. If you're feeling too much movement around that pelvis. Just make that circle a little bit smaller. It's probably just making it too big. So keep that control as we're coming round and back from here. Good. So controlling that movement around and back. Okay, now let's change direction. Opposite way with that circle, keeping that control. Hip bone staying pointing up towards the ceiling, remember? And you're keeping that core engaged, that control through that pelvis, and all that movement is coming from that hip joint. Good. Rolling around that circle, so drawing that circle on the ceiling. Last few here. And one more circle, and then back to that center. Very good. Lower that leg back into tabletop. Good, and bring that other leg if it's extended. Okay, so it's easier to switch in the air with these bands, so just use the opposite leg. So we can do the same on the other side. So that leg is in tabletop, core is engaged. Okay, make sure you're still starting that neutral position. We'll take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're straightening that leg away. Breathe in to fold back. Good, so reaching away with that leg, not losing that control, keeping that core engaged and that pelvis in that neutral position. So our back shouldn't be arching as we lengthen that leg away and fold back. And again, lengthen away and fold back. Good. Now either stay here at this level. If you want to make it a little bit harder, we can lift the opposite leg into that tabletop position and maintain that while we're lengthening and straightening through this leg in this one leg stretch movement. Good. So let's just see if we can do another 8 here. So we're going to go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, well done, 1 last time, and 1, and then back to that center. Lower that opposite leg if it's lifted. So we're going to straighten this leg down as we did before and into a one leg circle. So keeping that leg extended, either keep this one bent or we can straighten that opposite leg. Remember, straightening it challenges it a little bit more, so we've got to keep that control through that pelvis. So we're going to come round into that one leg circle. So moving that leg around from here, keeping that control. Hip bones pointing up to the ceiling. If you're feeling that you're getting too much movement through this pelvis, then you need to make your circle a little bit smaller. If you're still feeling too much movement and your leg's extended, then bend that leg back again, okay? So keep that control. Less is often more sometimes with these movements. Good, so drawing that circle on the ceiling with that foot, really controlling that movement from that hip, keeping that core engaged to control through that pelvis. Hip bones pointing up to the ceiling, so imagine those headlights on those hip bones, keep them pointing up to the ceiling as we go. Good, let's change direction, so coming around and back from here. Good. And controlling that movement, drawing that circle on that ceiling. We'll just do the last few here, well done. Core still staying engaged, well done. A little bit of tension on that band still. Excellent. And one last circle, coming around, back to that center, very good. Bend that leg back down, bring the opposite leg back up if it's lifted. Great, so we're going to bring those feet back to that hip width distance apart. We're going to have the band and we're going to use it through our hands now. So we're going to go up into a bridge. So feet, make sure they're tucked up towards your bottom. That core still gently engaged in our neutral position. We'll take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to tuck that pelvis under, lift up into a bridge, really use those bottom muscles to lift up in this bridge. Breath in here. As you breathe out, slowly lowering back down. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis under, lift up into that bridge. Breath at the top here. As you breathe out, walking that spine back down. Good. Now we're going to add in our arms with this band. So we're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, lifting up into that bridge. Bring those arms to follow up towards the ceiling. Breath in here. As you breathe out, walking that spine back down, and then slowly bring those hands back down. Good. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, tucking up, lose those bottom muscles, lift you up in that bridge. Bring those hands, a little bit of tension on that band. Breath in here. As you breathe out, walking that spine back down, and float the hands down to join. Good. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis under, use those bottom muscles, lifting in that bridge. Hands to follow, bring those hands up to the ceiling, shoulder blades down, breath in. As you breathe out, walking that spine back down, and then float the hands to join. Good, and again, breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis under, lifting up into that bridge, float those hands up to the ceiling, shoulders down, a little bit of tension on that band, lowering that back down, and float the hands to join. Good. Just do last few here. Breath in. As you breathe out, tighten that pelvis under, lifting up, float those hands up towards the ceiling. Breath in. As you breathe out, walking that spine back down, and then float the hands to join. Good. One last time. Breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis under, lifting up. Use the band, lift up towards the ceiling, shoulder blades down, breath in. And as you breathe out, walking that spine back down, and then float the hands back down to join. Very good. Okay, so let's just pop that down onto the side here, and then bring those knees, have a quick hug if you want to, just to stretch that out. So breathing in and out on that out breath if you can. Just sink down that little bit further. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, relaxing down that little bit further. Well done. One last time. Breath in. As you breathe out, relaxing down just that little bit further. Good. So we'll lower those legs back down one at a time, and we're going to come round onto our sides from here. So if you've got a little block or a pillow that you can use under your head just to support your head, you can just do that here, so your head's resting on there. We're going to have our bands again, and we're going to hook this around your foot. Okay, so we have that around this top foot here. Okay, so that lower leg can just stay a little bit bent just to give you a bit of support. My feet are just slightly forwards, okay? My hips are staying stacked and that core is engaged. I'm going to keep a bit of tension on my band, just resting down on the floor. And I take a breath in. As I breathe out, I'm just going to lift up that top leg and then lower back down. Good. And again, lifting up that top leg and then lower down. Very good. So keeping that control as you lift and lower through that leg, really working through those side bottom muscles here as we're abducting this leg. Good. So lifting and lowering. Very good. Well done. So you should be feeling that side bottom area as we're lifting and lowering through this leg. Well done. Excellent. Let's do a few more here. Very good. Let's do one last one. Lifting and lowering. Very good. Well done. Just bend that leg slightly if you need to, just to rest it for a second. Okay, so we're going to go into our side kick movement from here. Okay, so we're going to straighten that leg again, keeping a little bit of tension through that band. We're going to glide our leg forwards and then gliding it back against that band. So gliding it forwards, keeping that control and gliding back. Now you can see my leg is staying at that hip height level to really control that movement as you're gliding forwards and gliding back. Good. Glide forwards and glide back. If you want to challenge it a little bit more, you can straighten that lower leg as you glide forwards and glide back, just to make that a little bit less base of support there. So glide forwards, glide back. Good. So all the while really challenging those bottom muscles by keeping that leg at that hip height level as you glide forwards and glide back. Well done. Well done. So keeping that little bit of tension to that arm with that band. Glide forwards and glide back. Well done. Good. And let's just do one more here. Glide forwards, glide back, and then back to that centre. Lower that leg back down. Well done. Unhook your foot. Just give that muscle a little drop forwards. Have a little rest and a little rub there. Well done. Okay, so we're going to do the same on the other side. So if you bring that block with you, we can just come round onto that opposite side. Okay. So coming down from here, we're going to hook this band around your foot again, as we did before. We can keep that lower leg just slightly bent there for a bit more stability if you want to. So we're straightening that top leg. So make sure those hips are staying forward, those hips are really stacked on top of each other. We're just going to keep that little bit of tension on the band on the floor here, and we're going to lift that leg up and out to the side and lower back down. Good. Up and lowering. Okay, so just holding it however you're comfortable. Good. Well done. Lifting and lowering. Good. Well done. So really feeling in that back pocket side area, just working those glute muscles. So lifting this leg up and down. Well done. Lifting and lowering. Well done. We'll do a few more here. Keep that control. Lifting and lowering. Well done. Excellent. Still breathing. Don't hold your breath. Well done. Let's do one last one. Oh, and lower that leg down. Well done. Okay, so as we did before, we're going to go into our side kick movement from here. So we're going to lift that top leg again to that hip height. So trying to keep that leg at that hip height position. We're going to glide the leg forwards and then gliding it back. So gliding that leg forwards and gliding back. So all the while keeping that leg at that hip height level, really challenging those glutes. And it really challenges that core control as well by keeping that core engaged as we're gliding forwards and gliding back. Good, glide forwards and glide back. Well done. A few more here. Glide forwards, glide back. Well done. Very good. If you want to challenge it more as we did before, you can straighten that lower leg. It's up to you. Just challenges that core a little bit more, that stability through that leg. Well done. Glide forwards, glide back. Well done. Excellent. Let's do one more. Glide forwards and glide back, and then back to that centre. And lower that leg down. Well done. Drop that leg in front. Oh, give that muscle a little rub. Have a little stretch out here. Very good. Really good. Okay, so we're going to come back up into sitting just to stretch out through those muscles. We've just worked really hard. So in this sitting position, we can pop our band to our side now. Just have one leg in front. Opposite leg, we're just going to cross over. And we're going to just come round, rotate our upper body, just to really feel that stretch into your bottom muscles. So breath in here. As you breathe out, just relax around into that stretch. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, just rotating around into that stretch. Good. Breath in. As you breathe out, relaxing around into that stretch. Well done. One more time. Breath in. As you breathe out, relaxing around into that stretch. Good. And then coming back to that centre. We do the same on the opposite side. Opposite foot crossed over. We're going to come round, just rotate round, just to feel that stretch into that bottom there. Breathing in and out as we're holding this stretch. So breath in. As we breathe out, relaxing down into that stretch. Good. And again, breath in. As we breathe out, relaxing round. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, relaxing round. Fantastic. One last time. Breath in. As you breathe out, relaxing down. Good, and just uncross your legs. So bring those legs crossed if that's comfortable, just out in front of you, whatever you feel comfortable with. We're going to stretch into our mermaid stretch now just to finish off. So take a nice breath in. We're going to drop one hand down by our side. We're going to reach out on that out breath, up and over. Just stretch and lengthen through the side. Breath in. As you breathe out, back up and over. Good, and again, breath in. As you breathe out, reaching over. Breath in. As you breathe out, back up and over. Good. And again, drop down, reach over, breath in. As you breathe out, back up and over. Good. And last time, breathe out and out. As we come back to that centre and just relaxing those shoulders back down from here and going back to that centre. Very good. Well done. Well, thanks for joining us for our class today. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again.